So in this quick video, I want to go over how I publish less books but earn more money than 90 to 95% of self-publishers today. And if you don't believe me, you can see some of my results here flashing on screen just from my past months publishing books through Amazon, Audible. Those are the main platforms. I publish on other platforms as well, but Amazon and Audible are going to be the main earners. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 4 main reasons why I publish less books and how I'm able to earn more money than most people who publish a ton of books and just kind of run and gun with it. And also go into detail about each and every one of them and why you should start trying to publish less books and earn more money from it. It does sound like a no-brainer, but there's also a how to it and how do you do it. So I want to talk about that as well. Number 1 on this list is I focus on higher content books. Now, for someone who doesn't know, if you're coming from the outside, when it comes to self-publishing on Amazon, there's typically 2 styles of books, and there's a middle one too, but I don't need to talk about that because it kind of blends the 2 of them. There's low content books and there's high content books. And there is mid-range content, like I said, but we'll focus on the 2 main ones for now, which is low content and high content. First on there is low content. Low content books are the kinds of books you see when you're looking for things like word searches or Sudoku puzzles or journals. These are things that you consider low content books. And the thing is with low content books is there's a very low barrier for entry when it comes to publishing them through Amazon. And they don't really work on Audible because audiobooks are obviously sold through Audible and that's audio format. So you wouldn't see a journal being sold as an audiobook. But when it comes to Amazon's platform where you can buy ebooks and paperback books and hardbacks, low content books is where those are sold typically on Amazon's platform. The reason why I don't focus on these books is 1, because they have such low profit margins, but the main reason why is because they are like I was saying, there's such a low barrier for entry that it's just highly competitive. So many people are making these kinds of low content books. Don't get me wrong, you can make a full brand out of low content books, but it's gonna take a lot of these books to even get yourself noticed by people who are on the platform. That's why when it comes to low content books, one of the biggest strategies that people use is trying to just own their market by publishing hundreds and hundreds of books. This kind of works, and if you're someone who's looking to get into self-publishing on a budget, this might be a viable way for you to get into it. But for me, I like to focus on publishing less books and focusing on higher content books, say 20, 30, 40, 50,000 word books. So I don't have to publish as many books, but I can raise the barrier for entry, make it much higher because this kind of book costs a little bit more. You have to invest a little bit more money to have a higher content book written. And at the same time, not as many people are willing to put in the time that it takes to create a high content book. People's attention span is so low these days that they don't have, say, 4 to 5 weeks to create a high content book. They just want to make a low content book in like 2 hours and publish it. So that's reason number 1 why I'm able to publish less books but make more money. Reason number 2 on this list kind of relates to reason number 1, but it is because I like to focus on less competitive niches. Now, this seems like something that's easy to say, but when it comes to publishing less books, it means you're only obligated to find a few niches. But if you're publishing, say, low content books, you're gonna be obligated to find tons and tons of niches that you're gonna try and see if they have low competition, but it's gonna be very hard to find that when you have so many niches that you need to publish in and so many different books you need to publish. Chances are the niches that you publish in are going to be pretty saturated. But when it comes to higher content books, I'm publishing less of them, so I don't need as many niches or categories to get my books into, so it's easier for me to find less competitive niches to publish in. It goes without saying, a less competitive niche that has a bunch of demand is going to get you way more sales than a highly competitive niche with not very much demand. And even then, a highly competitive niche might have a bunch of demand, but if you have just say 1 or 2 books in that highly competitive niche, it's gonna be very difficult for you to compete in there and actually get your book ranking and get sales, even if the demand is super high because there's just so many competitors. Reason number 3 on this list, how I'm able to publish less books but make more money, is because with less books, it allows me to spend less on ads. And how do I do this is because when it comes to higher content books, it makes it much more easier, in my opinion. Okay, this is kind of my opinion. You can definitely do this with low content books, but it does take more time from my experience and a lot more energy. With higher content books, you're putting more time and effort into the books, from my experience, and they're higher quality books. It's way more easier to build a brand with loyal readers with high content books that actually have meaning and substance to them compared to, say, publishing a low content book where you might find that it's hard to build a loyal fan base because everybody else is selling the exact same book, since the barrier for entry is so much lower. This all relates to ad spend because I don't have to spend as much money on ads when it comes to releasing new books, since I have a fan base in the back end that I can sell my new books to. Instead of having to rely on spending thousands and thousands of dollars on ads to generate traffic, I can build up over time my own loyal fan base, which is acting as traffic for new books that I publish, and can make tons of money off of that rather than having to spend thousands and thousands on ads. So in that regard, I am saving a lot of money and able to make more money because I have my own fan base organically. I can promote books through emails, Facebook groups, all these kinds of things, instead of having to rely on Amazon ads all the time. Last but definitely not least on this list is that there is way less trial and error when it comes to publishing less books, okay? And this should be pretty obvious, but what I mean by this is that you don't have to publish hundreds and hundreds of books in different niches, like I was saying in the first point that I was talking about when I said focusing on higher content books. You don't have to publish like hundreds of books amongst different niches just to trial them and see if it's gonna work and sell. With higher content books, there's a lot more, I would say, tactics and skills that go into publishing them so that you can prepare yourself for a very good launch in a good niche. And you already know, typically before you launch the book into a high content niche, you've done all your research, you know that it's gonna be a competitive book in that niche, and you know that it's gonna be a high quality book so that it lasts, gets tons of good reviews, all that good stuff. In contrast, if you're publishing low content books, don't get me wrong, some people do publish super high quality low content books, but for the most part, lower content books, you're publishing tons of them because you're just testing niches. That's usually the way and the strategy that I see people using when they are publishing low content books, is publishing them in tons of niches and just seeing which one sticks. And that could take 50, 100, 150 books just to see before you find a good niche. Whereas with higher content books, it could take 1 or 2 books to see if that niche is going to be profitable. And then once you know it's profitable, you can go in and sell tons and tons of books and focus your entire brand around that niche, which allows you to not only scale your brand much bigger, again, building an audience, but also earn way more money because you can dominate that niche and not have to spend a bunch of time and money on multiple different books in different niches. So guys, that is pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you learned a thing or two as to how I'm able to publish less books but make way more money than someone who publishes hundreds of books. Don't get me wrong, some people will publish hundreds of books, maybe making way more money than I am. That's totally fine. But generally speaking, from my experience, going with high content books seems to always win in the end. And if you're someone who's brand new to self-publishing or looking to get into this online business model, but you don't know how to get started, I do have a free, 100% free Facebook community that you can join. First link in the description down below. It's gonna take you to the Facebook group where at the top, you're gonna see pinned is my 5-step guide to getting started with self-publishing. So if you're someone who's brand new, this is the perfect guide to getting into it and learning my tricks and tips when it comes to getting into self-publishing. There's also there's actually 12,000 people in there now, including myself. So if you have any questions, you want to connect with people network, it's the perfect place for that. And if you're someone who wants to get started right now, the link below that will take you to my free training. It's going to walk you through exactly how to get started with self-publishing right now. Hopefully those things interest you. If they do, I'll see you in the Facebook group, or I'll see you on the training. And if you enjoyed the video, again, make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when I post new publishing videos. Anyways, guys, that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.